Good evening and welcome to another live on Instagram by SoulPurpose 360. I am Palma Black. I am the founder and CEO of SoulPurpose 360, which is a Black women's empowerment organisation. We were set up in 2020 or formally launched in 2020, and initially what started out as being a coaching and mentoring consultancy grew into a national movement with a global membership. We have women, Black and global majority women in our membership who represent a whole range of different disciplines, professions, and some indeed don't work, haven't worked, suffering from a range of illnesses. Some of them are challenged by financial issues, health issues, but we don't write anyone off. And what we try to do is work with women to help them to identify and find their soul purpose. And we've had some amazing success stories working with women who they'd written themselves off, society had written themselves off, and now they're running successful social enterprises. And we know how difficult it can be for Black women to get a break. But what we try to do is to enable Black women to see the best in themselves by delivering services such as personal development, coaching, mentoring, training, connecting them with others in our ecosystem of Black women and getting them the help and the support that they need for them to feel motivated, enthusiastic, and enable them to find their soul purpose. And sometimes that may mean that they set up community projects, social enterprises, find jobs or whatever, but it's about finding meaning in life, and we are able to do that. So we've been having these lives for the past week or so, primarily because we've had a big change in our organisation. We have secured premises in Croydon, 4 stories of wonderfulness for Black and global majority women to come into that space and to grow and develop. So what does that space hold? So the space is called Soulful. It's based on George Street, number 62 George Street, which is a 4-minute walk from East Croydon train station. The George Street tram stops less than a minute's walk away from our front door. And every single bus that goes into Croydon Town Centre is within a few minutes walking distance of our building. So it's very, very accessible by public transport. On the ground floor, there will be a cafe, which is called Carabuena Cafe, which is actually run by another Black woman-led social enterprise. So we're about giving Black women opportunities to develop themselves and grow. In the basement, there will be the Afaya Wellness Hub, which is a space where women, members of our organisation who are health practitioners, so whether they practice Reiki, massage, shiatsu, whether they deliver talking therapies, will be able to deliver from that space to our members, but also to the wider community, because what we want to do is to develop a culture where wellness and health are second to none. They just are normalized, and anyone can come into that space and access those services, but also be a space where women who are delivering those services can grow their businesses as well. So that's in the Wellness Hub. There'll be 2 treatment rooms and a nice waiting area as well. On the first floor, we have what we're calling our registered office services. So that space is dedicated to women who are looking to set up businesses but are put off from doing so by having to put their home address as their base at Companies House. And we all know that information at Companies House is public knowledge. And for so many Black women, there are so many reasons why they don't want to or can't have their home address public. And so what we don't want to do is have obstacles in their way. So they can use our office address as their registered address. They can additionally get access to coaching, mentoring, training, support to get their businesses off the ground. Hi, Valerie. And hi Maureen, thanks for joining me this evening. So in that space we will have the registered office services, and it's proven to be really, really popular. On the first floor we have the boardroom, what we're calling the Mary Wedderburn conference room. It's in two parts. It's absolutely beautiful space. There's a kitchenette in that area. It can be used for a variety of purposes. So if you have a board meeting, or if you have a meeting where you need a boardroom setting, you can have that in one half of the room. In the other half of the room, we can have chairs set out if you wanted to create an audience or deliver a training and workshop. And there's even a kitchenette in that space as well. So it's fully self-contained space as well. The next floor up, we have showers. We have 2 showers and toilets on that floor. So if you've had a massage or some treatment, if you've cycled in and you feel to have a shower, you can have a shower at Soulful as well. On the next floor up, we have a room that it's set in 2 parts, which we are calling Soulful, and in that space there will be desks and chairs for people who want to come and hot desk or co-work in that space as well. And then on the top floor, the 3rd floor, there are 2 rooms, one of which will be the SoulPurpose 360 headquarters, and on the other side there will be a creative space for the creatives in SoulPurpose 360. So we will be producing our merchandise in that space, but we'll also be running workshops in that space. So if you want to know how to create a t-shirt printing in that space, and you can do that. If you have your own materials that you want to use a press, you'll be able to do that as well. If you have if the desire, somebody contacted me yesterday and said they'd like to run upcycling workshops, they will be held in that room as well. So the building is absolutely beautiful, and it can house so many different projects, so many different businesses, and we want women to come into that space and feel that they have ownership of that space, because it is there for the community. So that's the space. Connected to that, we have a crowd fund. The crowd fund is an essential part of what it is that we're trying to do here. So the crowd fund is set at £20,000. It's already live. We are encouraging you, if you're watching this video live, if you're watching it on catch up, to visit our website soulpurpose360.co.uk/soul-full and make a contribution to that space. Why is that important? Because we want to become a business that can respond to our members' needs and requests, and that we're not relying on grant funding. We want to be independent and sustainable, and 100% of your contribution goes back into the business. It doesn't line our pockets, it goes straight back into delivering more coaching, more mentoring, more events, more workshops, more of everything, so that more Black and global majority women can benefit from our services and they can begin to live fulfilled lives. So we really do want to encourage you to make a contribution. Doesn't matter how small that contribution is. You know what they say in the Caribbean, or in Jamaica specifically, every mickle make a muckle. And we really do want you to feel that you have contributed, so that when you come to take something out of that service, you know that you have paid your dues. So an investment in Soulful, in SoulPurpose 360, is actually an investment in yourself. If you look at it that way, please do try and make a contribution. It's Christmas time. If you're going to buy a gift to somebody, buy a gift for me, make a contribution to SoulPurpose 360 via our website. So a little bit more about SoulPurpose 360 as I wait for my guest to arrive home. I understand that she's driving. Who are we? So what do? We do a range of different things. We organise events, and we like to work in collaboration with some of our members. I see that Charm from A Brighter Health is here. We've worked with Charm on a number of occasions to organise pop-up markets. If you're looking to organise a pop-up market, there's no one better than Charm Miller to work with you on that initiative. She knows that industry inside out, and the energy that woman exudes in pulling off amazing pop-up market events. So we've worked with Charm on so many occasions, and she also, so that's Million Market, but she also runs a Brighter Health, and that's all about holistic health using oils. And I did talk with Charm earlier on this week, and unfortunately, me being a novice at Instagram Lives, I didn't save our conversation. So I owe Charm another opportunity, and I owe you an opportunity to hear the amazing conversation that I had with Charm earlier on in the week. But like I said, if you're looking for a pop-up market, if you're looking for health that's related to essential oils, no one better than Charm to go to for that. So not only do we have this hub in Croydon, we also have hubs in many boroughs across London. So Croydon is just one of them, but this is our first physical premises. We have local groups that are run by our members in Lambeth, Lewisham, Greenwich, Hackney, Islington, and I always forget the other areas. But this is what we do here. We empower our members to go out and empower others. All of our empowerment workshops are chosen by our members, not by us. It would be so easy for me to sit here and dictate and say what empowerment workshops our members are going to have. But we empower our members from the moment they join SoulPurpose 360 in order to have a voice, in order to have some influence and some power. So we ask our members what workshops do they want to deliver, or what workshop do they want to receive, but we also empower our members to deliver the workshops as well, and we pay them for doing that. So if you're not a member and you're interested in joining, again, visit our website. Our membership is free. There is so much benefit to being a member of SoulPurpose 360, and our conversation this evening with a member, and the conversation I've been having all week with different members, talks about our membership and the benefits that being a member of SoulPurpose 360 has brought to them. And everyone is quite different. People come to SoulPurpose 360 for a whole range of different reasons, and they stay for lots of different reasons as well. And members leave, and they leave, and then they come back as well. So our membership isn't something that you have to pay for or that you're obliged to participate in. What I always say to our members is, join and know that if you ever need any help, there is an ecosystem of black women who are eager to help you. If you have a project, a service, an event that's coming up and you're looking to engage with black women, you can do that. If you've just set up a community project, a social enterprise, a business, and you're looking for client group, by all means do come and promote your business in SoulPurpose 360, knowing full well that every single member of our organisation is supporting you and championing you and willing you to succeed, because that's what we're about. We're about empowering black women to succeed in every single area of their lives. And we're not about competing. We believe in collaboration over competition. We're not about judgment. This is a completely judgment-free zone where you can just be yourself, be your authentic self, and learn to decide who you want to be and grow yourself, grow your business, grow your organisation as well. So there's never any pressure in SoulPurpose 360 for you to be anything else other than what you are and who you are. At this point, does anyone have any questions for me at all? More than happy to respond to your questions live on Instagram as well. So you can pop your question in the chat. Hi Valerie, and you can, hi Melanie, and I don't know who Just Girl Fun is, but you do sound like fun. So yeah, join SoulPurpose 360. So Telma is going to be my guest this evening. Telma is a member of SoulPurpose 360. I'm going to allow Telma to introduce herself first of all, and then we will get into our conversation. Um, and she'll be here any moment.
Hello.
Hello, Telma.
You're right.
I
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Oh God. Um, that's all because I can't see you and I can hear you.
Okay, so let's have a look if we can help Telma out with this. So let me just say at this point that up until last week Monday, I was a complete novice at Instagram Lives,
Yeah,
and
so see, people can see me.
okay, then I can't see you. So let's just carry on and have our conversation.
Please, you watch it again. When you do your live, what do you save it?
I save it as a reel at the end.
That's it.
So
That's it.
yeah,
That's it. Save
yeah.
it. Yeah, and
So
add me as a contributor, and I'll also have it on my platform.
okay, all right. Well, uh,
Sorry, you can't see me. I don't know what to do.
I don't know what to do either, but that's okay. It'll be lovely to see you if we can work this technology out as we go through this evening. That would be a bonus. But if not, you're there and others can see you. So that's all that really matters to me. So Telma, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining and for agreeing to be a guest on the Soul Purpose 360 Live this evening. So
Thank you.
first and foremost, my darling, tell the audience a little bit about yourself. How would you describe yourself in one sentence, Telma?
One sentence, that's hard.
Mm.
Um, I can describe myself as determined, creative, and hardworking.
Okay, okay. So you've come to Soul Purpose 360. I don't remember exactly when you joined Soul Purpose 360. Do you remember when you joined?
I would say about a couple of years ago.
Okay,
Yeah, so it
okay,
wasn't too long ago.
okay. All right. And so when you joined, Telma, first of all, how did you hear about Soul Purpose 360?
Right, so Denise, Lady D Slim, is the one who introduced me to Soul Purpose. I was navigating through life and I wasn't really happy with the way my life was going. And Denise said, "Look, Tama, I know someone that can help you." And I went to an event in Southwark, and I liked the event. I liked people not being judged, being in a safe place, being themselves, talking ideas and sharing ideas and the encouragement. I really loved a place where nobody's like, oh, you should have done this, or why are you doing with this? Like, there was none of that. And I have to say that allowed me to reach out to you as well. I'm like, okay, let me
Okay,
talk to Palma and find out more about what she does. And I really have to say, I really liked it. I really enjoyed it.
fantastic. So what was your first impressions of Soul Purpose 360 then?
So my impression was very supportive group. That's one thing I take away. The support is amazing. Yeah, in every aspect, personal, professional, emotional. So yeah, very, very supportive.
So tell us about some of the benefits that you have derived from being a member of Soul Purpose 360.
Yes, for me, it's about my professional development. When I reached to places where I couldn't get no opportunities, you suggested for places to go. Not just for me, but also for my son. I've been struggling a bit recently, and even my cousin who still, has an issue with alcoholism. So there was a lot of paths to go through. There was a lot of links. There was a lot of places that you knew where to send me. So that really was resourceful. So I really love that.
So you've leaned heavily on the advice and the advocacy that the organisation has offered you.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know where to turn to. I mean, every single problem that I feel like there's always a solution, and I feel like what you do with Soul Purpose 360 is sort of giving us solutions. So that's I'm very grateful for that.
Mm. But I know that, whilst I may have set up Soul Purpose 360, this isn't about me. This isn't about Palma. For me, this is about the women like yourself and the hundreds of others, I should say thousands of others actually, who've joined
Hmm.
the organization, who contribute to the rich tapestry of services that the organization can offer. And oftentimes, Telma, when somebody comes to me with an issue, a concern, they need some advice and guidance, what I'm able to do is to refer them to other
Hmm.
people in the organization. And I know that I have done that with you. So do you want to talk a little bit about how you've come into the organization and how you've connected with other members as well?
Yeah, so I came to the organization when I have to say I was at my lowest. I mean, I was working in a job that I didn't like anymore, in teaching, and I remember I was doing my podcast, but I feel like my podcast wasn't really hitting the way it should be hitting, you know. And I'll never forget, I was coming back from Switzerland, and one lady approached me. I felt weird because I was like, "Who's this?" And she said, "Oh, I know you from Soul Purpose. This is you." And I'm thinking, it's weird because you don't know the person, but the person knows you. I was like, "Oh," and that really helped me build my confidence. And she gave me some advice to say, look, don't give up, just go out there and do what you like to do. And some of people the group said I should consider putting my podcast into a radio. So I've been looking, you know, I've been researching community radios, I've been contacting them and everything. I didn't get nowhere. And then somehow I said to myself, contact Palma, maybe she knows. And you introduced me to a lovely person called Blaze,
Hmm.
or Patricia, but she preferred to be called Blaze. And she said, look, first thing she said to me wasn't, oh, you should do this. She said, look, Thelma, how can I help you? How can I make you reach the potential that you want to reach? I said, simple. I would like to have my podcast on the radio. And she said, okay, I have a course coming up. Would you be interested to sign a course? I said, yes, please teach me, you know. And then that's how it is. So there's always links. Whatever you want to do, maybe you might not know the answer, Palma, but there are other people that might know the answer, which for me was very beneficial. So there's in every single, I feel like there's a lot of paths to take: professional, emotional, personal. So I feel like there's a bank of resources for people that there's no excuse that you can't do something. I don't have to explain with Palma, with a sole purpose. There's no, I can't do this. I won't be able to. It's like, have you tried this? How about this? So there's always a solution, which is great.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I think you're right. And that you're talking about Patricia Wharton, aka Blaze, from the Chalk
Yes,
Hill Community Radio Station. And we know what she's doing in over there in Brent in empowering women to have a voice and to move their voice into the mainstream through training on the radio is absolutely fantastic. And I,
yes,
and she knows that I absolutely adore what she does. But she, like so many other women in the organization, I know that I can refer any member to any of those individuals and they will get the help and support that they need in order to grow. And that's why I love this ecosystem of Black women, that everybody is championing everybody else and everyone will do their best to help another sister to be their best version of themselves, and if they can't, refer them to somebody else who can. And so
yes,
anybody that comes into Soul Purpose 360 will get the support, the guidance, the passion, that the compassion and the empathy that they need in order for them to grow.
yes,
But
absolutely. And thank you for that.
that talking about that, one of the questions I've been asking everyone this week is about personal development. Because as you know,
Yeah,
Tamara, what we do here in Soul Purpose 360 is we blend personal development with community development. And it is my dream and aspiration that we help women to find their soul purpose through their own personal growth. And that what they then do with that is to give their gifts to the world. And that can be on lots of different ways. It can be through volunteering, it can be through setting up community projects, it can be through setting up social enterprises, setting up businesses. So tell me a little bit about what personal development means for you, and where you intend to go with that.
So, right, so a very good question. Personally, I feel like I need a bit more confidence. Um, what helped me with soul purpose is to not think negative, but also think positive, even when the situation is not positive. So, I spoke to you recently about being made redundant, and I was
Mm.
heartbroken. I was like, oh my goodness, what am I gonna do? And then I decided, to take time off work. I just thought, you know what? I feel like I was in an environment that was not supportive, that was not healthy as well, because there's no way you can go to a workplace where you're not feeling well. Like I've had issues with my skin because of it, with mental health, and I did decide to take time off anyway. And then you said to me, well, you got this time, do something about it, use it. And a lot of
Mm.
people I spoke to, they said usually when they take time off work, they're just chilling, doing nothing. I'm gonna be honest with you, the first few weeks I did, but then I was bored. I was to the point where I even wanted to call back work to say, look, can I please go back to work? Because I can't be sitting home doing nothing. But I did say to myself, you know what, you want to do this project for the radio. How about brushing up your skills in filmmaking because you want to go back to filmmaking? So I've started looking for courses, I've started looking for trainings, I started going out there, meeting people, interviewing people. So I made sure I was very, very busy because staying home is great. You have that time off, but if it's not used purposefully, there's no point. It's just a waste of time. And also I've got kids and I don't want them to feel like, you know what, I had a bad time at work, but I'm just gonna stay home and do nothing. That's not the answer. So I've been very, very, very busy.
Hello.
I look
So you dipped out for a minute. You said you've been very, very busy. So yeah.
sorry. Yeah, so I've kept myself very busy. I think that was the key. And also the confidence through Soul Purpose. I love the fact that, you know, for especially for us, for women of color, black, mixed race, whatever, it's harder for us, but we have to
Mm.
still accept and say, you know what, it is, but what we're going to do about it? Are we just going to sit back and say, oh, you know what, it's hard, I tried, and that's it? No, we have to work even harder than fellow people that are white. That's how it is. But
Yeah.
really, I've got to say, confidence has been something I'm still working on, and I've got to say, I've done a lot better, especially when dealing with setbacks. So setbacks, like you taught me and also Blaze taught me, it could be a blessing, find ways, like find a way to use it as a blessing. Maybe it wasn't meant to be, or maybe that's not what was destined for you. So instead of taking it bad, just try to take it as a good, as a sign. Basically, that's how you have to
Absolutely.
be. So yeah, that
Absolutely.
helped.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I completely do resonate with that. I was talking with one of our members today, and I was saying that I've got to a point in my life, Telma, that when something doesn't turn out the way that I think it should, I'm now able to say, well, actually, that wasn't meant for me,
Mm-hmm.
and waste no negative energy or thinking about what I could have lost out, and just be completely comfortable in the knowledge that actually that's not what was meant for me. The right thing that's meant for me is coming. And
That's it.
and honestly, since I've decided to adopt that way of thinking, life has got so much easier, so
Yeah,
much
definitely.
easier. And so that is something I would say. And I know that we've had this conversation when you told me that you'd been made redundant, and I shared with you my redundancy story. And
Yes, you did.
honestly, life is too short to be upset over a job when we have our health and our strength, and we have this amazing network and this amazing supportive network who will help you to find your soul purpose, and
That's
and
it.
and and be confident in that. You mentioned your podcast earlier on,
Yes.
Tara, but you've also mentioned your podcast and lack of confidence. And I want to know really how those two things can coexist. How you can say that you're lacking in confidence, but you have a podcast. And I've seen you on your podcast. I've seen the caliber of the people that you've been interviewing on your podcast as well. So let's spend some time talking about your podcast. What is the name of your podcast so that our audience can go and find your podcast?
Yeah, sure. So basically, my podcast was inspired by my students. I don't know, there was one, I had a very tricky class. First year I was working in that school, I had a very tricky class. So I found a way to build a relationship with them. And there was one afternoon I've allowed them to be on the laptop, but the aim was for them to play a game with languages. But the class was too silent. You know, when they're too quiet, you think, something's not right. But then I thought, you know what? They also focus. So I allowed them once I was just getting on with some of the other work. And some of the kids even missed the ass, what are you doing here? And I'm thinking, I beg your pardon, like, what do you mean? And they say, we saw your interviews, we saw your media work. What are you doing here as a teacher? You should be out there interviewing people, working sports and this and that. And I said to them, listen, media is hard to get into. And they were inspiring me. They said, but miss, anything in life is not easy, but you have to chase your dream. You have to carry on working, persevere. And you know what? The languages, I'm thinking that class, some of them were quite low abilities for them to come up with the things they were saying. And we were discussing about media, like how there's many routes to media, how many different roles. And they were really inspiring me. And they say, oh, how can I get into media? What can I do? Whatever. And I was like, okay, so we spent an afternoon not even doing French, but we're actually talking about many roles within media. And they didn't even realize that some of, like, I don't know how to explain, but some of the subject that you think you take for granted actually is something that you can use in media. For example, English, you can use in writing, for journalism, or even to write a speech. I said that everything that you guys are learning in school is relevant to your future career. And we were so deep in that conversation. And I said, you know what? I'm going to have a podcast. And I've told them in the class as well. I was thinking it out loud. And I said to them, I said, I'm going to have a podcast to have people, professionals, talk about their professional journeys, and for you to give you an idea of what to expect when you finish secondary school. And they were so excited. But I think they got even more excited because I told them that they inspired me to do it. It wasn't just an idea I had for myself. I said, actually, the way we're talking, they're asking basic questions. What grades do you need? If you do that, what are you going to get? How can I get this? Is it about who you know? Like, so me, I said, you know what? There's not enough session in class to learn about this. I said, how about podcasts? Hear from people themselves. And that's how it was born. It was really born out of them. The lack of confidence for me is like when you feel like your podcast should reach more people and you feel like it doesn't reach as many people as you want to. That's why a lot of people say that about radio, reach extra people through radio. And I say, that's a good idea. So,
That's fantastic.
you can do stuff, but it's still, confidence is still, I think it's not just for people like me, it's for everyone, every day.
Yeah, yeah. And I remember actually this week talking with, I think it was Charm, and we talked about, you can be confident in one area and not confident in another area. It doesn't mean that because you're confident across all areas of your life. And I think that that's something that we do recognize in Soul Purpose
Yeah.
360. And we have a training program. I'm going to be talking with one of our members tomorrow who is on our
Mm.
training program, and I'll see if I can remember to talk about that. So what was really interesting about what you just said is that it was the young people, it was the children that
Yes.
encouraged you to do that. And I think that there's a lot that we can learn from young people. They have a different energy than what we had when we were coming up. And I think for them growing up in this social media world where everything is so accessible, for them it's second nature. I think for us oldies, or specifically talking about myself, it can be a hurdle to
Mm.
get over in terms of being out there so publicly. But what I recognize, Telma, is that this is a medium that we need to use in order
Yes.
to reach our target audience. We do have to have a presence on social media, and I remember being on your podcast. So thank you
Yes,
very much for hosting me all the way back then. And I'm hoping to be on your radio station when
of
you
course,
get in that space as well.
of
Um,
course.
tell me, what would you say to other Black women about following their dreams and passions in the way that you have?
So the most important thing for me is again the purpose. What you want to get out of it? What do you want to accomplish by it? So there's a lot of things I've learned through, like, I don't know how to explain this, but those people who set up businesses like Richard Branson, I look up to him a lot. And I love what he said. He said a business is about making somebody's life easier. It's about accommodating that person. And
Hmm.
I got that in my mind. I said, but you know what? This guy is got a point. What's the point doing things for ourselves? No, it's about what can you bring to that person? How can you help that person? So the mindset should be really, what are you going to do to help somebody else? Basically, that's it.
Mm.
And obviously, you have to be really good at whatever it is that you want to do. For example, there's no point you trying to do ballet if you're not good at dancing. Like, that doesn't make sense. You have to find something that you enjoy, that really something you're passionate about, and then craft, find that all the ideas are set, all the research, and then go out there and do what you have to do. But think what you're going to bring to other people before you think what's going to bring to you. Because if it's just to you, then you're not going to reach people. It's as simple as that. Especially when you
Mm.
work. I mean, I was telling my students, which they found a bit weird, but everything we do, there you have to think media in a way because you're trying to reach people. Everything you do in life, there's media into it, regardless if you feel like there is or isn't. There is. So I said that you guys are born in a in a time where everything's accessible. For us, then no, you have to go to school to learn that. You have to train for that. Now people don't even need to, but I do still advise them that you should always back everything that you want to do, back it up with, a training or education, because the
Yeah,
people will take it more seriously. And I was talking
absolutely.
especially for people, black, mixed race or diversity. I was mainly focusing on them. I hope they got the
Yeah.
message.
Yeah. And I want to add to that because one of the things that I talk about is, yes, you have to find your purpose and it has to be about passion. But I think that we also have to love what it is that we do.
Yes.
And I remember having a conversation with my daughters a few years ago, actually, and I was saying to them, everything that I do, I try and do it with love because when you do things with love, it makes what you do easier. It down
Yes.
to even washing the dishes. You know,
Yes, it's
down to even
true.
washing the dishes. That if you do it with love, it doesn't feel like a chore. And I think that is very much about a mindset. That everything that we see that sometimes we there are things that we don't want to do. We just do not
Mm.
want to do them. And what I try to do is turn that around into finding some passion in there and in order to enjoy what it is that I've got to do that I don't want to do. So yeah, I would say that, learning to love everything that you do and then don't do things that you don't love.
That's
And if
it.
as far as possible you can avoid the things that you don't love, then life just becomes so much easier and there's so much flow about it. I want to talk to
Absolutely.
you about our book. And congratulations,
Mm.
because not only are you a podcast host, you are also now a published author. How does that make
Oh
you
my
feel?
God. Do you know something, Palma? I'm meant to buy this book, and that's actually, thank you for reminding me. That is my Christmas present. I will never forget. Thank you for the opportunity, by the way. I'll never forget you sent us in the group about an opportunity to contribute to a book. And because I was, my mindset really was all over the place. I didn't like my job. There was a lot of, like this year, let's say it was very difficult. And then you said, don't put tomorrow what you can do today. And you
Oh,
said
yeah.
you might not have, yeah, you said you might not have everything in the same day, but you said that every day a little bit. Just find something that can touch, encourage people. But you said, do not miss out on this opportunity. Like, just don't. And I thought about what you said, and I said, you know what? There's nothing worse in the world than living regrets. And I said, okay, you know what inspires me? I don't know which of the stories, but I remember going back to my childhood when I was difficult, impossible. I have to say, to an extent, I was, but at the same time, I wanted to really, that's why I'm going to teach in the first place, but to inspire those kids who feel they don't belong, that, you know what, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You might think you're like this, or there's something wrong. And no, there's nothing wrong. It's just that the system wants you to be a certain way and you can't fit that way. But it
Yeah.
doesn't mean you can't be yourself. Like when you leave school system, you are out there by yourself and you need to figure out things in life. So you're gonna be alone, regardless what people think, oh, there's people supporting you, but you're gonna have to make decisions by yourself. You need to do things by yourself. So I really wanted to try and inspire people to, especially those who had difficult childhood, that you know what, it's not the end, it's just the beginning, really.
Absolutely. And I loved reading about your upbringing and, you're traveling from country to country, the challenges
Yeah.
your parents had, the challenges that you had in learning languages and establishing yourself in these different countries. I'm trying not to give too much away because what I want to do
Yeah.
is to encourage people to go and buy the book. The
Yes,
book
I'll
is
buy it.
called Owning Every Line. And
Okay.
I, that title came to me was when I was editing the book and reading all of the articles, and sometimes I had to talk with the contributors, and what I realized was the power behind their contributions, that what they were doing was owning every single line, and the majority of women that contributed to it had never had anything published before, but here they were sharing the deepest part of them in an effort to help other black women to understand how they overcame their personal obstacles and challenges to find their soul purpose, what black women at rest means for them, the wealth of poetry and prose that women sent in across a whole range of different topics. These women were really owning every line. And that's the title of the book. It's an anthology of black women's writings. It's available on Amazon. So if you just go to Amazon and type in Owning Every Line, you'll come up with the book.
Can't wait.
Every single penny of that book goes into Soul Purpose 360. It doesn't go into my back pocket, only one goes into Soul Purpose 360. But I have a free copy for you, Telma, as your gift for
Oh,
contributing.
what?
Yes, I do have a free copy for you. So I'll need to
Thank
find a way of,
you.
of, of getting that book to you. And it's been so popular that we're going to be doing it again in 2026. So over
Yay.
this Christmas and New Year period, I'm going to be thinking about different topics, and I've got a lots of different topics because doing this role here at Soul Purpose 360 has highlighted to me so many different areas and conversations that women have talked to me about, and I really do want them to be able to commit that to writing. So there'll be another publication out next year,
Wow.
hopefully this time next year, publication number 2, and we can be on a roll. And what we could be doing, therefore, is multiple things. But I think for me, it's about providing black women with a space to share their words, their stories, having their voices heard. Because as you know, the book formed part of our definition redefine campaign, which is all about us writing our own narrative. But it
Mm.
also is helping so many women to become published authors and inspiring them to go on and write, if not a book, then to contribute their articles to newspapers and magazines and so on and so forth, so that they begin to grow in
Yes.
owning every line of their lives as well. So yeah, so
Nice.
thank you very,
Oh,
very much for that.
I'll sign up definitely.
Brilliant,
Hopefully.
brilliant, brilliant.
Oh, well done, Palma. I mean, how do you feel? You're asking me how I feel, but look at the legacy you're currently
On the one
building.
hand,
It's amazing.
Tilma, I would say relieved is a way. because, you know, on top of everything else that I do, you know, I managed to get this book done. The book isn't perfect, and I make that quite clear. It's a learning, it's a growing for all of us. But yeah, I'm now able to say that I'm an editor, publisher of books, and will continue to do that as well. And I've contributed to the
I
book
can't
as well,
wait.
so people can read the book and they can learn how I found my soul purpose, and how that all came about as well.
I can't
Um,
wait.
yeah,
Oh.
beautiful,
I can't
absolutely
wait.
beautiful,
Wow,
absolutely.
well done.
But my last question to you, my darling, is again, it's a question that I've asked everyone who I've spoken to this past week. Yeah, as we get to the end of the year, our minds turn to, you know, looking back on our achievements, but also looking forward to what it is
Mhm.
that we want to do in our future. So what plans do you have for 2026? And also, how can Soul Purpose 360 help you to achieve those?
Yes, right. So I might be over ambitious, but I've already started to work on the next step of my life. I would like to study journalism,
Hmm.
and I'm currently working on a documentary with a friend, I mean, somebody that I met not long ago, and I've got to say, he's been pushing me. Like when we got cut off at some point, this man is pushing me more than I'm pushing myself, because again, all the setbacks, it's hard to believe when something feels too good to be true. But like many people say, look, Thelma, I wouldn't spend that much time on you if I didn't think this was worth it. So having a documentary, studying journalism, to work in a sport I love, which is football, which I love so much, are two things I would like to do. So hopefully study journalism, become a presenter, and conclude the documentary. Hopefully that's one plan. But that might not just be for 2026. That might be overlapping the first. So everything set for 2026. That might be bear the fruit in 2027, if that makes sense. So
Yeah, no,
everything's work in
absolutely.
progress. So
That is
yeah.
fantastic. I love that idea of you studying in a field that you know is something that you love, and that will lead to something that you desire and aspire to be. So I cannot wait to see you, and maybe I should get your signature now, your autograph now, before you become too famous. But yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to it. And if you need any help or support, you know, come and ask here at Soul Purpose 360, and we will do that for you.
Oh,
Absolutely fantastic.
you have done a plenty. I forgot to mention, you recommended a group, Black People in Sports. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah,
That's also
exactly.
another
So
one of our members, Sam, who is up
yes,
in Yorkshire, and she's recently been in New York.
I
Amazing.
know. I mean, I remember full well, it was around May this year when I was added to this group. You recommended the group. I've done my research. They contacted me. I was in the group. And then May, I found out the situation that led to my redundancy. I was in a really dark place. I remember my mentor and Sam and all of them, they were like, look, Tama, maybe it's time for you to fulfill your purpose. Like, look at it as a blessing to do something you're gonna love. I say for now, changes are hard, but what's worse? To stay in somewhere that you don't like, that you don't love, that you don't enjoy going, or to see that as a sign to actually for growth and develop. And I said, you know what? You're right. It hurts a bit, but you're right. And they said, you have to leave it behind. I said, oh, I'm going to miss the kids. And I said, well, the kids are growing. They're going to forget about you. They're just going to move on and do their own thing. And I said, you know what? You're right. When you spoke like that, it makes sense. So, yes, I was busy during the time I took time off. I was also busy with them once a week, no, once a month. We met and then we discussed progress. Again, encouragement. It was similar to Soul Purpose. In fact, I feel like it's the same, but this one's to do in sports.
Hmm.
So I'll recommend this group for anyone that is interested to work in sports. So Black People in
Absolutely.
Sport, I think that's what it's called. Yeah,
It is Black
yeah,
People in Sports, and if you go onto LinkedIn and check Sam Frey,
yes,
Fray, yeah,
yes,
you'll also connect with Black People in Sports. Soul Purpose 360 membership is just phenomenal. The women in our
yes,
organisation who are here to help, support, uplift, encourage, motivate, to partner with, to develop businesses with. It's just absolutely fantastic. And for me, this is how Black women should be with one another.
yes,
And a
yes.
lot of that would dispel the myth that Black women don't support one another, because we're doing it here in Soul Purpose 360. Thelma, it's been an absolute pleasure talking with
Me
you.
too.
And you know, I
Me
still
too.
can't see you. And I'm hoping that when I share this as a reel, it shares with both of us on the screen, because who wants to be looking at me the whole time and not see the
No, no,
beautiful Palma
no.
that I've been talking with? So yeah,
You'll see yourself. Don't worry. Share it.
more
Trust
about
me.
seeing
Sometimes,
you,
sometimes
not
I've,
me.
yeah, I think we're gonna see each other. But listen, it's been a pleasure, and I can't thank you enough for everything you've done for me. It feels a relief that despite my life being challenging, but you know what? Now I take those challenges a lot better because I know that anything that I need, anything I've ever needed, I always reach to you or the group. So thank you so much for being there. Really, thank you so much. I
Oh,
can't
bless
wait to
you.
see what else you can do. I think maybe you're gonna do a documentary. Maybe you're gonna do. I can't wait to see what else you got in the pipeline because there's so much avenues you can take this. So
Absolutely. So what's going to happen before the end of the year? I'm going to be putting out what we're calling our impact report, which will talk about what we've done in our last financial year. So the end of September 2024 to October 2025.
okay,
And then also a survey, a member survey. And in that survey, what I'm looking for are our members to help us to write our next 5-year strategy. So
okay,
ideas, suggestions, potential collaborations and partnerships, consortia, all of that kind of stuff, and how collectively we can work together, we can join each other and really build Soul Purpose 360, but also to build our member organizations, build you guys as individuals. You know, if you want to set up businesses, we want to help you to do that. If you want to collaborate with us, we want to help you to be a part of what it is that we're doing as well. We really do want to weld Black women together and build Black women's movement here in Soul Purpose 360. Once
I'm
again,
clapping. Well done.
thank you. You've listened to Thelma this evening. You've heard Thelma talking about the benefits of being a member of Soul Purpose 360, how that's moved her from the lowest ebb in her life to where she's going with her life. And I just know she's going to be an absolutely amazing success.
Thank you, Palma.
Everything, it all costs. No, that's okay. That's what I'm here for. What I'll say to people is, it is my sole purpose to help other women to find their soul purpose, and that's what what I'm here to do. Please, please, please visit our website, soulpurpose360.co.uk /soulful, and you will, I should say soul-full, and you will find our crowdfund. And there, please do make a donation, a contribution to our crowdfund. Help us to achieve our 20,000, knowing full well that 100% of that is being reinvested in the organisation. And if you're a member, if you're going to be a member, that will be reinvested in you as well. And so it's
Yes,
not money wasted, it's not money going somewhere else. It's for you to invest in yourself, in your future empowerment workshops, coaching, mentoring, training, whatever else that we're doing in the organisation. Know that it's you
yeah.
investing in you. Thelma, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so very,
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you.
And
Have a
I will,
lovely evening. We keep in touch as always.
all right. And I'll see you soon, my dear. Take care now.
Take care. Bye, darling.
Okay, bye.